Welcome back to Well, That's Interesting, the I've got something in my eye edition.
Oh, no. Oh, I hate that feeling.
We're going to have it all episode long.
No! I'm kidding. Tell me everything.
This is episode 025. This woman had a worm in her eye. Actually, several.
No! Tell me everything now.
Okay.
I have to hear everything.
So that screaming was Marissa Riley.
Yes, that was me. So gross. But as y'all know, I'm here for all the gross stuff.
She's here for it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here for it.
Oh,
I'm Jill Chacha. That's right. One correction. Last episode in betweeny, the last in betweeny, I accidentally, we were talking about the megalodon.
Yes.
And I accidentally said the spinal column that was measured was 26 feet long, making it 26 years old. So surprise, it was much bigger and older than that. It's actually 46 feet long.
Fuck yeah.
And 46 years old.
She's in her 40s.
She was in her 40s.
But she looked 26.
That's right. Maybe that's when I got confused. Yeah.
You were nice. You were aging her down.
So, should we just jump right into this story with the eyeballs?
Yeah, tell me everything.
Okay.
I'm already preparing myself for like a good solid week of like me thinking it's happening to me.
Oh yeah.
And and I need to know everything about it, so I'll be prepared for tomorrow when I'm like, baby, are there worms in my eyes?
Oh, the cool thing is that you'll know right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The worms aren't shy.
Oh,
as
no.
we will see. They,
oh my God.
They like to.
They're confident?
They're confident worms. Let's begin.
Let's do it.
So, on a day in early March 2018, 68-year-old Nebraska resident, retired medical anthropologist, and public health researcher Diane Travers Gustafson felt something in her right eye.
No.
Now, her permanent residence is a farm, so it's not uncommon to get dirt and debris kicked up and into your eyes, right?
Yeah.
But Diane wasn't home.
Okay.
She was spending her winter in Carmel Valley, California.
All right.
And she was there to escape all of that farm life. But here she was, having to deal with some uncomfortable pain. And it all began over a bathroom sink.
No, I have one of those. I was hoping this would be like in the middle of the Amazon jungle, a place that you, Marissa Riley, will never be.
No, this was like outside a city.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm outside a city.
That's right. We are in a city.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so, we're in the bathroom, standing over the bathroom sink, and it's anything any of us would do. We would get some tap water into your hands, splash it down your face, and you give your eye a bit of a rub. But on this day, it wasn't sand or mud. Diane squished out a half-inch transparent roundworm.
No! No!
Let it out. Let it out.
No! I'm sorry if I just blew out every listener's ears.
I know. It's okay.
But I would assume that
everyone is...
me and the listeners would be screaming in unison.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all going to scream together, and that's good. We need an outlet, and...
We all need to let it out. Doesn't matter how thin your walls are.
Yeah.
If you start screaming, that will give everyone in your vicinity, your building, your park, your bathroom...
Yeah.
the opportunity to also scream. It's like howling dogs.
Sure.
Except we're people.
That's right.
And we're just letting it out.
Yeah. We're coming to that point where we all need to scream.
Yes.
Okay.
I like it. Okay, back to the worms.
So, a half-inch transparent roundworm. Now, I would have passed out.
Yep.
You would have screamed.
Yep.
But Diane somehow remained on her feet, and maybe she had to because although this worm was removed, she was still experiencing the same pain.
Oh my God.
Which meant, that's right, she had to continue flushing out her eye until it stopped. So she carried on, rubbing and squishing until a second worm was found.
I'm not going to scream again, but okay. I will on the inside.
Okay, good. Screaming on the inside.
Yep.
But yeah. I think we could all agree, 2 worms out of your eye is 2 worms too many.
Yep.
24 hours later, at the office of an ophthalmologist in Monterey, California, you guessed it, there a doctor removed a 3rd nematode. Fancy word for worm.
Yep. Very cute, though. It sounds adorable.
Now, this is a pretty bad day, or a couple of days, really. And until the worm could be analyzed, the only prescription the ophthalmologist could provide was a topical ointment called Tobrex and some good old-fashioned distilled water to continue washing out any additional guests. Now,
It's really sweet of you to call them guests.
Now, if you're wondering what the difference between an ophthalmologist is and an ophthalmologist is, well, I did as well, and I looked it up, and quote, an optometrist is an eye doctor that can examine, diagnose, and treat your eyes.
Okay.
An ophthalmologist is a medical doctor who can perform medical and surgical interventions for the eye condition.
Got it. Okay,
End
very
quote.
good to know.
There you go. It's from healthline.com. So basically, she was ready to haul ass into surgery if needed. And honestly, I don't blame her.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. So
I would like scream the whole way there. I would run, flailing my arms in the air like a chaos muppet.
Chaos Muppet, right? Yeah.
I would
right down the
chaos
street.
muppet my way. I would probably go to the hospital. I would do something embarrassing. It sounds like she went to bed and then the next day she went to a doctor, like
Yeah.
a smart person.
No, I would have panicked Muppet.
Yeah.
Muppet panicked?
Muppet panicked. I would
Chaos Muppet?
Chaos muppet.
Whatever it was called. Yeah.
Exactly. I wouldn't have called an ambulance because that's very expensive, but I would have gone somewhere immediately.
God damn it. Yeah, so... Oh, Tobrex. I should probably explain what Tobrex is.
Yes,
so,
please.
Tobrex is a topical antibiotic used to treat bacterial infections in the external part of the eye. Now, it does not kill worms, but like we said at the time, they didn't know the species or how to properly kill it, so this was just like to prevent any further damage.
Yeah.
You know.
Keep that eye safe.
Right. So, with this, Diane leaves California for home in Nebraska. Now, all seemed okay until mid-March, when that familiar irritation and, quote, foreign body sensation returned. This time in both eyes.
Great. Great.
But according to the case study in Clinical Infectious Diseases, the one more time.
We got
Try
this.
it. Ophthalmologist found no worms at this examination, and Diane was sent home. Now, would you like to read further from this medical paper?
I would love to. Okay, quote, shortly after this, the patient removed a 4th worm while irrigating her eyes. That's the whole quote.
That's the whole quote.
I'm so grossed out. I love this so much. Like, it's like a gross out that you love.
That's oh my God, it's the perfect way to describe this podcast to your friends.
A gross out that you love.
Luckily or unluckily for Diane, that 4th worm would be her final worm pulled from her eye. So, there you go.
What? Are there other places in the body she's going to pull them from?
Right, this episode is just about eyeball worms right now.
Okay.
We did have an episode, intestinal parasite episode,
Oh, I remember.
about the butt.
Yep. And you should listen to it. It's
Scroll back a few.
It's gross, but the most fascinating thing.
It was a lot. That one was a lot of fun too.
Good times.
Yeah. So that was the final worm pulled from her eye. And 2 weeks after this loitering bug was removed, the results came in of like finding out what the hell this thing is.
Yeah.
The CDC Parasitology Reference Laboratory, along with the Monterey County Public Health Laboratory, agreed that the parasite occupying Diane's eye was the species Thalassia gulosa. Close enough.
Thalassia gulosa.
Better known as the cattle eyeworm.
Gross.
Now,
Whoa.
I did some super unfortunate Googling of the cattle eyeworm. I cannot unsee the bloodshot-infested eyes of farm animals, so I will not show you any of those photos today.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Nor will I put them on our Instagram. Well, that's interesting pod.
You're welcome, listeners.
Yes. But I will show you what they look like when they're on the tip of a human's finger. Like, say, if you squished your eye and you took it out.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like in relation to a human finger.
Oh, got it.
There you go. Can you describe this photo?
Okay, so this a person has their finger out, and on the tip of it is like this tiny whitish pink worm.
Yeah.
And it's so small. It really is just at the tip of, it's really tiny.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to measure how tiny it is. You can see it with a human eye if it was on your fingertip, but it is large enough to make you want to throw up.
Yes,
If I pulled that out of my eye, I would absolutely throw up. And
I mean, in proportion to your eyeball, that's pretty big.
it's like the size of the what is the colorful part of your eye?
Oh, like the retina.
The retina. So it's
There
about
you
the
go.
size of the retina.
Yeah. I would say so. They're transparent. They kind of reminded me of like a cellophane noodle.
Absolutely.
They're kind of like that. And it's pinkish on this person's finger because because they're transparent, they can become the color they're around.
Yeah.
Because you can see through them. So when you're looking at yourself in the mirror or when you're looking at an animal with these, your eye looks bumpy and squiggly. And it definitely looks like something is alive swimming around because it's transparent. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Now you're probably wondering why Diane's worm chute stopped producing worms. You're actually probably wondering a lot of things, and we'll get to it, I promise. But maybe the reason the last worm was the last worm was because the one that was pulled out at the doctor's office in California, that was the egg-laying mom.
Okay.
So,
Got it. Pause. So what you're saying is something was laying eggs in her eyes.
Yeah, something was giving birth in her eyeball.
It's really, we went there. I think this is almost grosser than the cannibal episode.
Which one? We've got several.
Oh, the one where the guy ate the guy?
Oh, the German cannibal one.
Yes. Yeah. Excellent episode, but really tests.
We had to put a trigger warning.
Test your stomach.
In the beginning of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go check that one out. That was great.
That one
After
out.
this one.
After this one. This one's awesome.
If you can handle it.
But laying eggs in my eye, no.
Yeah.
No.
That's right, guys, gals, and everyone. So, the sample taken from Diane was an adult female pregnant with an abdomen full of additional larvae ready to go. Ugh. So how did Mama Worm make its way into a very human Diane? She's not a cow or a horse or a goat, and she wasn't anywhere near those animals for the past month.
Yep.
Well, we're going to hear from Diane herself and learn way more than we've ever wanted to about the cattle eye worm after the break.
Amazing.
Hello, everyone. You may recognize me as Gabby from the History of Everything podcast.
And my name is Brenna, and you don't recognize me from anything yet.
Together, we're two scientists who explore all of the weird little questions and conspiracies of the universe in our new podcast, Mystery of Everything. Everything has an explanation.
We hope.
But that is what we're here to figure out. We will dive into the science behind many popular conspiracy theories, such as vaccines causing autism, flat Earth theory, and was the moon landing fake? And if so, why the heck would anyone even do that?
But it's not just conspiracies. There's a lot of cool mysteries that we will attempt to use science to explain, such as near-death experiences, what made the Vikings go berserk, and can I control my co-host with MK Ultra?
Wait, what? Anyway, make sure to check out the Mystery of Everything podcast everywhere where you find your podcasts.
Hey everyone, Jill Chacha here from Well, That's Interesting, and I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about Spotify for podcasters. I use it, I love it, and it all started by downloading the free Spotify for Podcasters app, which has all the tools you need in one place to record and edit your masterpiece of a podcast. Spotify for Podcasters also distributes your show to all major platforms. So when you hit publish, your episodes will stream not only on Spotify, but I'm talking about the Apples, the Googles, Stitcher, Good Pods, the other ones. You get the idea. And you can monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership required. You could also set up monthly subscriptions and record ads just like this one. So what are you waiting for? Download Spotify for podcasters today and start changing the world. Oh, and please, stay interesting. And we're back.
We are so back.
So back, and you're back, which means you stayed with us.
Yes.
That
Amazing.
that means you're an interesting person.
You're a very interesting person, but also if you had to stop to like throw up, I completely understand.
Yeah, we get it. Now, we left off with a worm-free Diane, which is wonderful.
Amazing.
That's right. But we should find out what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Now, to do so, we have to go a little further back into 2018, into February 2018. Like we mentioned in the first half of the show, she was wintering in the beautiful region of Carmel Valley, California, and it wasn't her first time in the area. Would you like to read from the article, Yikes, I'm a Host, at gizmodo.com?
I would love to. Yikes, I'm a host. That's great. All right, quote, "My husband and I are regular trail runners. We trail run at least a couple times a week, and this was a trail we'd run endless times. I'm a very steep trail. She's not a trail. Don't worry. I just can't read. It's a very steep trail with these little hairpin turns, so you can't really see what's ahead until you've made the turn. But on that particular turn, we knew a rattlesnake lived there, and I was watching the ground, trying to stay out of his way. So when I got past that part where the snake tends to be, I looked up and I was just headed into what I would call a cloud of flies."
That's right.
End quote. A cloud of flies is what she said.
That's right. She ran
That's terrible.
into a cloud of flies.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Now, not only do we have worms today, poor Diane describes from memory as a cloud of flies. Quote, "I'd never seen anything quite like this. Before I knew it, I was in the midst of it, and they were in my eyes and mouth, and it was just a matter of getting them out, wiping them off my eyes. And I remember thinking, oh, I hope there's nothing in here, because the article about the first woman in Oregon had just been published, and I had read it." End quote. Yeah, so now at the top of the show, we introduced Diane, and she's a retired medical anthropologist and a public health researcher.
Yeah.
So before going on vacation, she caught up on some parasite news.
As one does.
As one does. And one of the stories included the case of a 26-year-old Oregon woman diagnosed with, you guessed it, Thalassia gulosa, the cattle eyeworm.
Oh my God.
That's right. And she read up on the horrors, how this young lady had been horseback riding on a ranch and came home to deal with not 4, but 14 worms in her eyes.
No! Sorry, I'm screaming again. No! That is horrifying. And I think the most horrifying part of this is that Diane read about it.
Yeah.
And then it happened to her.
It happened shortly thereafter.
No, that's the worst case scenario. What if it happens to me next week? No. Okay, calming down.
It's okay. It's okay. Breathe. The 26-year-old was the first known human to have been infected with this particular worm, and not being around any animals, Diane thought the odds of this happening to her would be super low. Now, I think this would be a good time to talk about the life cycle of these worms.
Cool.
So let's do that. Okay, so we have to start in an already infected eyeball.
Okay.
2 worms meet, they mate, one gets pregnant and pops out young worms at the larvae stage. Okay. Face flies, who feed off farm animal tears and fluids for nourishment that exists, suck up the offspring in the process.
Got it.
Yeah, and inside a fly, they become mature adult worms. And when that fly lands on the next animal, the adults migrate out of the fly host's mouth and into their new home, again, to find a mate and birth baby worms. And this is their beautiful life cycle. And Diane just happened to jog right into it. So that's what happened.
Oh my God. This is the most fascinating life cycle from one eye to the next.
Yeah.
Thanks to flies that eat
Tears.
And
secretions and stuff.
wow.
Yeah.
My mind is blown.
So
Tell me more.
No, well, okay. Well, so it was a problem that she jogged into this cloud of flies. And like most of us who have a problem and know they have a problem, denial is very powerful.
Yeah.
So would you like to read further from gizmodo.com?
I would love to. All right, quote, I wear contact lenses, dailies. And sometimes with contacts, because of dry air and other things, you can get a little extra teary. So I probably discounted the early symptoms. Then I thought that I must have an eyelash stuck in there, and I kept trying to wash it out. Then I thought maybe it's an ingrown eyelash. And so I took a pen light and a magnifying mirror to look at my right eye. And what I saw were 3 little glittering, translucent things moving across my eye. End quote.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
What's interesting thought. They are translucent. I wonder if that's so the animal or human, in this case, can continue seeing and living their best life, even though there's a worm on their eye.
Could very well be. Could be
Can you
very
see
well defensive.
through it?
She was able to see through it. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
It's very nice of the worm
That is
to
what
be
it's-
translucent.
It's trying to be as polite as possible. You know, it doesn't bother the fly. It's just all up in its mouth, just trying to politely get where it's very British. Just trying
Very
to politely
British.
go where it needs to go and then ruin things.
There you go.
Just
I
kidding.
love
Just
a
kidding.
polite British world ruining worm.
So on that fateful day in March, Diane washed her face and vigorously irrigated her eyes. Because in her words, quote, "I'll tell you, these little buggers get stuck to your eyeball. I mean, they live in the tear and they'll hide if they feel something coming after them," end quote. So,
Wow.
but, you know, she succeeded, as we know. And she's fully recovered. And I bet you're wondering, does Diane still winter in Carmel after all this? And fuck yeah, she does.
Fuck yeah, she does.
That's right. And she still runs that trail.
Yeah.
And, but she now wears very tightly fitted athletic sunglasses for protection.
Amazing.
I also hope she's wearing sunscreen, Diane, wherever you are.
Yes. Protect that
There you go.
skin as well.
That's right. The end.
The end. Wow. This
Oh, man.
this subject was
That was a journey.
This was a journey. This was better than a lot of horror movies I've seen.
That's because it is. It is the premise for a horror movie.
Yeah, I think we can make it. It's going to be called Eyeball Worms. Do you think people would want to see that movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would go see it.
Yeah, I'd Amazon that.
I'd
Prime
Amazon
that.
it. Yeah.
Or Shutter it.
I'd Shutter. Oh yeah,
There you
I'd
go.
Shutter it for sure. Because I have Shutter and I wouldn't have to pay more.
I guess that's it. Thanks for listening, everyone. And you know what? You should stay interesting.
You should.